My name's Ben Pollard. I'm sports scientist with the England senior team. The GPS that we use is just a small little monitor that they wear in between their shoulder blades. That sends a signal back and forth to satellites and basically picks up how far the players are running, how fast the players are running, so we get information like how fast they've run, how far they've run in certain speed zones, how many accelerations, decelerations, and that gives a real good objective quantification of the movement demands of training and the game.
If you're getting a good hit out on the session, it's happy days. If you're not, you might need to do a little top up at the end. So there's no hiding, these things feed back everything.
We'll monitor real time by the side of the pitch. Sometimes there'll be sessions where we do look to feedback, sometimes there won't, depending on the priority of the session.
Go off me, Catty.
With players, we try and give just some basic snapshot info as soon as possible after the session. That usually leaves them quite content. These players are competitive animals, so they just want to know whether they ran more or whether their heart rate was better than the guy next to them.
There's usually banter on who's done the least, and they get a lot of stick. Running wise, you know, the flankers and guys like back rowers usually clocking up some good mileage on these.
Probably usually the nines, and they usually tend to rack up the highest distance, especially obviously in attack phases, because they're at the majority of breakdowns they're metres per minute, and their total distance across the course of the game tends to be the highest out of the whole team.
Yeah, I do look at all the figures, a lot of boys do. There's loads of bits you can pick up and get an understanding of how the game went, when it picked up, when it was slow, and all those bits. And yeah, nines have to run an awful lot, so yeah, you've got to make sure you clock up high on this and then get the rewards later on.
When you're in test weeks in the Six Nations and such, there's not always that need for competitiveness. Rugby's by far the priority, and cracking on with that. But when it comes to their conditioning sessions, conditioning games, speed sessions, we want to make the players as competitive as possible, so they'll push each other, because that's what gets them going.